Hello guys, welcome to the channel. So in this video, we're going to look into why so many people invest in things that doesn't have a nice return on capital here in Ghana. It's because we don't look at the numbers. Just not Ghana, but Africa in general. And I'm gonna get into why that happens. Oftentimes, we just want to do something back home and we don't look at the numbers. So we're gonna start looking at the numbers and we're gonna look at scenarios and situations where you can make certain investments that's gonna pay off, and situations where even though the return on capital might be nice, it's a risk for you, for somebody who don't live here. Now, all of us plan on coming to live on the motherland. Let me get that right. Some of us are comfortable living in the West, okay, but we do want to invest back home. There's nothing wrong with it. But you have to look into what you can invest back home that is going to give you a nice return on capital without all the unnecessary risks. This goes beyond the numbers. So I'm going to look at some business opportunities that you can put your money into even though you don't plan on living in here in Ghana, and it's going to be safe. And then we're going to look at certain businesses for you guys that plan on building a house here and then coming home with a little bit of nest egg to come and invest. Right? We're going to look at a few scenarios so that you will have your mind, going around for you to figure out your niche and, for you to start planning on what you want to do with your money, because we all must invest back here on the motherland and own a piece of the motherland economy, okay, because the foreigners are doing it. And the least you can do is to take advantage of the opportunities that lies here on the very continent that you are from. I operate a car wash, and I'm going to use that as an example. Now, this car wash has a very nice return on capital. In the beginning, the return on capital was even much better, but the cities has depreciated a bit. So you are looking about 8 to 10 years to get your money back. That's not bad. For real estate, that's pretty good. The reason why I'm saying for real estate is because I bought a building. That is where the chunk of the money went, right? The chunk of the money went into the land that I bought, and the business itself, if I was renting, it would be much less. And then your return on capital would be much higher, which we're going to look at for somebody who's operating a salon and whatnot. So happily speaking, let's say I spent $110,000 on this particular car wash. I own the land that is appreciating in value. For the past 5 years, they are actually, currently as I'm speaking to you, they are doubling the Temakosomo Road. That's where my car wash is. And from the time that I bought this land for $83,000, even if somebody give me $150,000 to $200,000 today, I will not take it, right? Call me stupid or whatever, I wouldn't take it. Why? Because I know what I've seen. Although I'm in the process about to build this mini mall, I know the returns on capital. That's the most important thing, the return on capital. Forget about the price of the land or whatever. Think about what you can put on the land and what you're going to get back. That's why people will come to Osu and Cantonment and they will pay ridiculous prices, and people are complaining about the infrastructure, blah, blah, blah. You're not looking at the return on capital. Somebody called me recently, actually a client of mine. He did consultation with me, and then he's here in Ghana for about 6 months. He's coming to do his feasibility test and whatnot, which is a great way to go about it. This guy, consulted with me, and we had his blueprint, how to go about it, and I taught him the ropes, right? And he's following, and I love that. So he called me like, Rush, I'm in Osu, I'm seeing all these indigenous old houses, and there's these fancy buildings, and why are these people now moving and all that? And I mean, how were they able to afford the land here? A plot of land here is almost $300,000. So, why would you even buy it? I'm like, my friend, let's look at return on capital. Welcome to Afenya. A plot of land in Afenya is 85,000 Ghana cedis. I've been selling land to a lot of people. Most of the houses in the walls that you see on this video are the people that bought land from me. We still have plenty of land available for you. And if you're interested, our link is in this very video and in the description below. Reach out to us so we can talk. Afenya is less than an hour away from Accra, and they are doubling the road, so the distance will be even shorter when it's done. Pram Pram. Now, Pram Pram is well sought after due to its proximity to the beach. People love the beach fronts and the beach vibe in Pram Pram. Now, Pram Pram is not too far away from the main city, which is Accra. Less than an hour drive, you are in Accra, and they are doubling the main Tema Adan Road. When that's done, the distance will be even shorter. We also have land here going for 85,000 Ghana cedis per plot. Let's not look at America and Africa from the same lens, or Dubai and Africa from the same lens, because we are drastically different. Unfortunately, things are quite expensive here in Ghana, right? Like a 1-bedroom, room for one night somewhere in Osu or East Legon is going to cost you about $100, right? Believe it or not, it's expensive. But guess what? There is a market for it. I operate one, and I'm telling you, there's a market for it. People do rent it. You can't fight the market. So as an investor, somebody will come in and spend that $300,000 on that land in Osu, in as much as you think the infrastructure is horrible and their drainage system is not right and all that stuff. You might say, as somebody who's living in the West, fair enough. That's fair. From your lens, what you are used to, that's how you see it. But for the investor, okay? For the investor, which is what I'm about to teach you to do when you're investing. Because you might think you are being smart, you're buying something somewhere, but you actually losing money as compared to the person that just spent $400,000 on land in Osu. And I'm going to tell you why. The person that came in to spend $400,000 didn't wake up and just came and pour $400,000 in Osu in somewhere with a poor drainage system or whatever for the sake of doing it because they love throwing their money away. No. That person was able to raise $400,000, or that company was able to raise $400,000 and come and pour it there because they have a plan. Okay. Not only do they have a plan, they've had plans for over time for them to be able to acquire that $400,000. Unless it came from lottery money, they are not stupid. They are savvy for them to be able to get to a position where they can drop $400,000 on a piece of land. That person knows what they are doing. So we're going to look at the numbers. Somebody who's spending $400,000 on land in Osu for one plot is definitely going to put up something that's going to give him like 70 units or something like that. With underground parking, they utilize the land. Okay, and they are looking at return on capital. So that person might be coming in here to build a whole bunch of units and making like $20,000 per unit. Let's look at it. That person is making $20,000 per unit times 70, right? This is somebody being modest. Trust me. In Ghana, when people build things like this, their profit is way more than $20,000 per unit. But that's $1.4 million. Pure profit. This is me being very modest with it. Okay. People will buy. There's somebody who's putting up units in Osu and selling it for a very, reasonable price for it to run. Other than that, this person making like $3 million, $4 million, $5 million in profit. Cool one. And if the person was to rent these units out, they will also get their money, right? So we're going to look at a few numbers as well. So let's say this person put up 70 units. Construction cost $5 million. Construction cost $5 million. Land was $400,000. So 5.4, right? And 70 units, let's say each unit bring the person $2,000 a month, right? So let's look at it, right? That's me being very optimistic. Let's say each unit bring this person $1,800 a month times 70, right? So this person get $126,000 every month times 12. I was talking about profit, 1.5 million. So this person get their money back in less than 6 years. Okay, you can flip these around. Like you can drop the numbers. You can do whatever you want. And a person that spent $400,000 in Osu or East Legon can put up a lot of things that's going to give him a higher return on capital that you can never get on your $5,000 land, $8,000 land. You're not going to get it. And that's the angle that we need to think from. That's why, the Indians, the Lebanese and stuff like, they come and they will spend the money to buy it. They've done their numbers. And we will sit back and complain about the infrastructure being too expensive. We don't have the infrastructure as America. We're charging these ridiculous prices. And they do not care. They just don't care. They will buy that big lot. They will go raise money. They will come and put up their Palace Mall. They will come and put up their Melcom. They don't care because they've done the numbers. And they are not stupid. And we need to think from the same angle. We need to use this. That pen and paper and the Excel. We need to do that and stop judging and just talking for the sake of talking. We need to start looking at the numbers to make a decision on paper. Not our emotions and just being pissed off with things. A lot of people are going around and saying a whole bunch of stuff for the sake of saying things, but the return is there. I've seen it. I operate a unit as a signature. Very expensive. People will say, oh, Ghana, blah. A month hasn't gone by where we haven't make, let's say on averagely $2,500 every month, you're going to make it on our 2 units apartment here at the signature. So when you look at it, you get your money back in 10 years or so. It's not bad. Now let's look at somebody who's being cheap, right? You went to where I sell my land, right? $8,000, $9,000. I finish pram. I sell beautiful land, and these places oftentimes is great for your residential home, okay? Your residential home or for investment vehicle as a land banker. You buy that land, you wall it, you don't put too much money into it. You hope to see what's going to do. Is it going to appreciate in value? I bought land 2 years ago in these areas and flipped it to make 100% return on capital. That's great. But what you don't want to do is, you don't want to buy that $8,000 land and now go and put $300,000 into it to buy a 5-6 unit apartment building. Because you're going to get $200 a month. And when you do the math, my friend, you get your money back in like 40 years. That's a horrible investment. But you can still build an apartment building on such land, but you need to look at the numbers. How much is rent going for in the area? Rush, you come to me, Rush. Like I strongly encourage people that come to me for their building, even simple residential homes. I beg people to come to me with a budget. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna design the house to perfectly fit in your budget. We're gonna make sure we stay under the budget as long as it makes sense. If you come to me like, Rush, my budget is $25,000, I'm just simply gonna tell you I can't do it. It's not possible. But if you're reasonable, you come to me like, Rush, I want a nice 3-bedroom house for $100,000, 85. Doesn't mean I'm gonna price you that amount. But we're gonna have that in mind when we are designing for you something that fits your budget. It doesn't mean that you should go and be unreasonable, but you should be reasonable, but you should know what you are doing. The reason I'm saying that is because people will come to you and they will tell you, I want this, I want that. By the time you finish, the bill is so high. And some of them just go and do it anyways. But oftentimes it might not be the right idea, especially if it's for investment. Now, if you're investing in an area where, your land was $5,000, $8,000, whatever it might be, where rent is going for $250, $200 a month, it's not bad. People still have to live there. But you have to give the market, that's the market there. You cannot go and build something that belongs to East Legon over there and expect for people to come and live in that place, like the suburb, and pay $1,000. They're not going to do it. It's the market. You have to respect the market. That's the issue we have here. We don't respect the market. We respect our own opinions, our own opinions and how we think things should be. But the market is only feeded time and time again. It's a collective effort of a lot of people. The market will decide, right? If you build this fancy unit, you build something fancy and you put it on this land that I'm talking about, and you expect somebody to come and pay $1,000 a month on it, my friend, you're going to be sleeping in there with your family. But if you put the same thing in Osu, that land that I told you about, even double it up, put $5 million in there, people are going to rent it for $3,000, $2,000. They will do it, right? So we need to look at the numbers and we need to look at the scenarios. So if you bought that land in that, that area where the land was $5,000 to $8,000, it's not bad. You can wall it. You can use it for a lot of things. You can put up some block, the simple block cutting machine in there, make some money. You can do a lot of things with it, right? But you can also put up the apartment. But based on the numbers that, we're looking at, let's say you have 5 units, you get $300 a month, that's $1,500. You're going to have to do some maintenance here and there. So that's really cool. You're walking away with like $1,200 every month, right? If you invest you're able to put this off, this 5 units with like $150,000 thereabout, it's okay. It's a nice return on capital. Now, you're not well off as somebody who spent $400,000. So remember, I told you, see the numbers? But you get your money back in 11, 12 years, appreciation of value in the area because it was less developed and, prices might go up as the area develops and stuff like that. You can account for all of that. So in the beginning, if you go to a remote area like that and return on capital, your return on capital, because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. So at a time where there is potential, right? The area is now developing, the price might go up to match and all that. But at the moment, you don't want to start looking into the future to calculate into the future. At the moment, you're going to go with the current one, right? But us knowing that there's an upside where the rent can go up a little bit, if you get your money back in 12, 13 years, it's okay. But you do not want to go over 15. Any investment, right, that you get your money back in more than 15 years, my friend, it's not a good one. There's a lot of businesses that you can get your money back in a year, 2, 3. But oftentimes, you don't have any sort of ownership. It's just you are renting. For example, when I say renting, you're going to get into like a salon, right? Now, the beauty industry here in Ghana prints a lot of money, right? You can set up a nice salon for $40,000 by renting a place, $35,000. I'm talking about top-notch finishes, right? And you're going to make your money back in that year. Like 1 year, you're going to make your money back. 2 years, you're going to make your money back, but you are renting. Now, this is not for everyone. This is for the person who has the skill and lives in Ghana, is passionate, it's on the ground, right? There are opportunities. That's not for everyone, right? Like my car wash situation is a very nice return on capital, but if you're not here, it's probably going to fail because these guys, I'm here and they're stressing me out, right? So you want to target that long-term investment, that long-term, like the rental unit that I'm talking about. Like you can get land in a remote area, not remote to the point where people can ask if people live there, but it's not as developed. You put up something modesty. There's areas where modest belongs and there's areas where luxury belongs, right? So you put up something modest. Your return on capital, you get your money back in like 13 years, payback period is 13, 12 years. That's a nice one. The beauty about this is for people who don't want to live in Ghana, they just want to do something here, they want to come in and out. The beauty about this one is you come in at the end of the year, you take your rent and you go away, right? Or even if you're not here and somebody take it for you and put it in your account on your behalf, at least you know what it is. Like if you know you're renting a place for $250 a month, or you have your 5 units, you multiply, it's simple math, you are good to go, right? You don't want to stress yourself too much. Some people might also go for the Airbnb in these high rises, right? But oftentimes maybe the management, they have a lot of units, they don't really care too much, and you can have all these calculations, sweet, you think you get your money back in 7 years. I've seen it, and they just don't care about you like you will care about you, right? And it's not moving. We operate a unit at a Signature where it's doing really well because we manage it ourselves. You need a good management, right? So these high rises that sell units in there, you can make a very nice return on capital as long as you have the market for it. So you have to find the right person for the job, and you're gonna be okay, right? So that one, you're gonna be okay. But then again, you are not here short leg, unless you have a system in place. Like you can, for Airbnb, you can put systems in place where you're not here, but you can still know what's going on, like a digital code when somebody log in and go in there, you can see that person entered. Like somebody can put somebody in there and say nobody was there and stuff like that. You can put some electronical sensors and stuff like that in there for you to know what's going on, right? To get a nice return on capital. Not all of us have to come down here and just pour money down without looking at the numbers. We need to start looking at the numbers. I bought my car wash for $83,000, and this was about 5 years ago, and I really didn't care about how much land is going for in the area. This was an operating business. I've seen the numbers, and that's all I care about. At the time of when I did the calculation, I was supposed to get my money back in 5 years. The city's depreciated a little bit. And how much you get per car wash is not the same. So when you do the math now, it's less in dollars. And I'm still getting my money back in 8-9 years, and I'm okay with it. But now that they are doubling the road, and as I mentioned to you, even if you give me $150,000 right now for that land, I won't give it to you because I've seen the numbers. So oftentimes, it's about the numbers, guys. We are so worried about the money that went in. I just gave you the example of the guy that put $400,000 in there. It's your return on capital. You can go ahead and go buy, some land for cheaper amount somewhere, and if it's getting the same return on capital, now you made a killing. You made a right investment. You go and you buy yourself a $40,000 land somewhere, and you are getting the same amount of car wash. You make it the same amount of money. You put like almost half of the money in. You get your money back in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. You be me. Congratulations. But don't let the price in itself deter you from making that investment. As long as your numbers are right, know your numbers. It's really important. There's always a price for something, but then there's also a return. The person that come in to buy something very expensive, oftentimes, again, these people are not stupid. They've been doing this for a very long time. They know what they are getting themselves into. Let me hear what you think about in the comment. I just feel like we need to start looking in the numbers more, right? And we need to be more intentional on what we want to do.